Up, I'm live, and it's a Monday. I haven't done this since 2 weeks ago, which admittedly wasn't that long ago, but yeah, I didn't stream on Monday last year. Last year? Last week. Great start. Anyway, yeah, I'm here once again on a Monday night, unlike last week, to play some more Derail. Or maybe the last time this update cycle. This year's weeks have felt like weeks themselves. Um, Also, I can't help but notice that Furret is a little bit... I don't know why I'm only just noticing this now, but Furret's a little bit near the chat. So I'm just gonna walk him over to there. That'll do. Felt like years each week. Yeah, that makes a little bit more sense. Anyway, yeah, no, Derail Valley, I'm kind of done with it for the most part, for now, because I've got all the licenses, I've got all the trains, like, literally the three main things that I haven't done yet is go to mill base, which we're going to do immediately, drive a steam engine, and get the caboose. That's it. That's all I haven't done yet. I mean, there's more I haven't done, obviously, but like, in terms of main things to do, that's it. I've done most things. I've gotten the licenses. I've gotten the trains. Exception of the caboose, I've gotten everything I can. So there's just not that much of a need to keep playing. And while it might be good to build up a bunch of money before B100, whenever that comes, whether it's later this year or even next year, I've got plenty of time. I don't need to. So, plus, next Tuesday, 1.1 comes out of experimental, so Satiscracktory will be returning probably the week after, assuming all of the mods that I use have been updated, which I'm in the, is it the SML Discord? It might be. I'm in a Discord server that's, I think, I think it is the SML, the mod loader server. And, oh yeah, there have been updates to many mods in the past week or so. I don't remember how long it's been. Point is, there's been a lot of updates. All for 1.1 compatibility. Now that's compatibility with experimental branch, so we'll see how quickly things actually apply to the main branch, whether or not that compatibility will be sufficient, or if more updates will be required. We'll see. But the point is, it's just around the corner, and I want to finish Phase 5. I might have to reconsider how I'm going about finishing Phase 5, just to not burn myself out immediately. But I want to get back to Satisfactory, and I want to finish Phase 5, because I still have not seen the end of the game fully. I've seen bits and pieces, because it's been long enough that, of course, I have. But, yeah. Also, buttery smooth 70-ish FPS. 70 because it works better for screen tearing with G-Sync and whatnot. I don't actually remember exactly where we left off, but everything's been repaired here. If I do this, you can see Whoops, wrong button. You can see all of these. They're all full, except for this, but, you know, that's the slug, so of course it doesn't have all those. So, I'm just gonna go through and alter all of these, because, you know, you don't have any custom switches. Because for some reason... Well, you can stay on partially. For some reason, things keep resetting. Although this remembers now. That was a recent patch. This actually remembers its position now, which is very nice. We don't have parking brakes enabled anywhere. I want to drop down one more. And, yeah, I think we're good to go. Amp limiter kicking in immediately, but that's what it's meant to do. It's meant to kick in and prevent it from going over 12,000 amps. 1,200? I don't know. Whatever the number is. Times 100, not 1,000, so. But yeah, like I said, we're going to the military base right away. There's a couple jobs here. There's nothing too spectacular, but I don't know, maybe I can get something coming back to harbor that's a bit more interesting. And because I'm pretty sure we haven't done this route yet, we're gonna take this route up to military base. Possibly turning around at Coal Mine East, because then I can just back it all the way up. Because that's a Y and that's a Y. Oh. End this. I'm going to be jumping out with the train around this switch because, well, I'm not going up the hill. You go up the hill and you run the risk of resetting jobs, and I don't want to deal with that. Yeah, they really messed up the performance of this game with B99 4 because it is running so much better now. Yes, it is going that way. We want to go in here, so we don't care about that. We don't care about that. And unless this is going to somewhere that everything else is going, which it's not, I don't care. So we've got attack helicopters and ammunition. Like I said, nothing too interesting, but it's something, and it's a reason to go up to mill base. I could make some additional drops, but I want to take the coastal route, like I said. I say coastal, there's a river there. But it's the edge of the map. We haven't been up that way. Which I think by extension means haven't been this way. Been up this way, but yeah. I could also go this way, but I'm gonna, that's why I flipped the train around. We're gonna head up here and out and up and possibly around Coal Mine East up to there, just so I have to back up less. But like I said, that's a Y between there and there, and that's a Y between there and there. There's no route there, there's no route there. Rather annoying that. Also, yes, I don't have a lot of money anymore, but that's because I bought Military 3 Hazmat 3 at the end of the last stream, which was 2 weeks ago now. That is 7i. Is 6.0, and then you over here will go to 8.0. Purposely not pushing the train too much while I'm figuring things out. But now that I have everything aligned, No problem. I never did put the lights on this, so I just have to use... You can get underneath of this little box, you just need to go like that, like I did, from beneath. Although don't try moving side to side, because, yeah, he kind of clipped into it now. It's fine, but it gets a little janky at this point. Try moving around. As a side note, I did consider setting this up off stream, but last Sunday, not yesterday, I just got things kind of repaired and left it at that, and I haven't touched it since. Because I figured, honestly, I'll just leave it. You know, there's no real reason to do more than that. Because this is going to be quick enough that there's no need. Yeah, see. Actually, I'm just stuck now. There we go. Don't worry if you can't see much. I can't see much either. No? Don't want to see it. Okay, fine. Oop, not backwards. You're actually facing the correct way. That threw me off. Okay, now we go the correct way. And I am going to quickly flip you that way, and you that way. You're correct, you're correct, you're correct. What about the E-yard? Are we straight through? Right? Left. There are a couple of loads I could pick up that get dropped off at, like, goods factory and maybe oil well, maybe coal mine or iron mine, but again, I don't care. Let's just go up the coast. We've been to those places before, and even if I don't have the most money in the world, at this point the only thing I need money for is repairs and crash damage, which I still have only derailed the cart, so I'm trying to keep that up. We'll see if I'm successful or not by the end of tonight. But yeah. At that point, it's definitely clear. Good. Give it a bit more speed. You'll note I am using the DE6 to shunt instead of the DE2. The reason for that is because, honestly, with two DE6s and the slug, the DE2 kind of struggles. It can do it, just not very quickly. And because I'm not super concerned about wear and tear at this point, just use the DE6, it's easier that way. Hard to see when you don't have any light. This is where a lantern would actually be really helpful. But all I've got is a flashlight. Alright, we're good to go. We just get in here to flick these lights off. Set you back to forward. Oh sure, now you register the switch. And let's see, we're at 100 meters on that. I'll just leave that like that. So that's another 54 meters. I'll leave that at 50 for the moment. And that's another 84, so let's say 90. And we're good. Go forward. Just gotta hand these in and we can be on our way up to the military base, though of course it's nighttime at the moment, so it's... I guess there's no weather in here. Bit of a shame. Also, as a reminder, the nice thing about these is that they're both going to the same siding, so... Let's see. So this should all be set correctly. I've already checked it, but I'll double check it. We've already set E-yard to go through. And so now, where is everything? We're going up here, so I definitely want to go right there. Coal Mine East we'll get to when we get to. That I'm going to leave left so I can back up, which means right at Iron Mine and a left at Military Base. Coal Mine East I want to check out, though. Should actually keep the speed on the screen. I have to be careful of this going out of the window, at which point it becomes inaccessible, though I guess I can always just do that. And now, like, it's outside, but in theory I should be able to interact with it. Right, left? No, right. And then check C yard, right and left. Okay. That works. Just gonna cut the throttle and run over here to the station building. Oh yeah, those are there for later. Steam engine startup and brake checklist. I don't think you necessarily need to follow that, but there's stuff on there that may or may not be useful. So anyway, it's gonna be a clear day, though it's currently just before 3, so you know. God, those lights are so good. Well, this is a unique perspective. They did fix the bug that prevents this from or that caused this to happen when you're getting out of the train, but apparently they never fixed it for trying to get into the train. I don't know why it happens, but yeah, I'm just kind of out here. Also, I have no clue what the speed limits are up this easternmost route. So that's fun. You can see there's some stuff here that might go up, like that might be Iron Mine West, or it could be Iron Mine East on the left here. I don't know. You got forestry beyond that. I think 40 is doable out of the yard here. I don't think it's quite as low as 30. If you're going up to get the slug, then yeah, you've got some sections that are as low as 10. I'm gonna stop there just in case it is 30 and not 40. Might have a chance of not derailing. Yeah, I don't hear any issues. Though this right here is a bit sharp. Sure enough, 40, but uphill slope. Alright, as fun as this is, it's very loud out there. Just send it because that's totally necessary. I've only got the one DE6 running. So even if this starts to struggle, I can always just start up the second one and it'll be fine. I guess the other thing I could have done before is just use the proximity radar. Oh well. I use that, but I basically never use it. Did I say that I use it, but I never use it? I meant that I have it, but I never use it. It's good for if you only want to use a DE6 and nothing else that can use the remote, I guess. But when you have the remote... Yeah, these new headlights really made it so you just need nothing else. They're so good. And again, with them being adjustable with one of these, which are more adjustable if you use your mouse. And yeah, I've noticed we're losing speed, but to be fair, the hill got steeper for a little bit there. And again, 1 DE6. If I need the second, I'll start it up. But for now, we're fine. On one hand, I'm gonna kind of miss playing this as much as I have. On the other hand, I'm kind of okay with it because, like, again, I've done everything that there is to focus on. Minus getting the caboose, I guess. But the caboose isn't necessary. You know, the DM1U is very useful for museum runs. And the utility car comes with the museum. So you don't need to get the DM1U, but it is helpful for getting two at once. The BE2 isn't necessary, but it can be useful for shunting every now and then. And I'd say that you want the slug. Certainly once you get to the DE6, you want the slug. It's not strictly necessary, but the way that you can pair two DE6s with the slug and just have way more traction and dynamic braking. Yeah, it's 125 tons of dead weight as well, but the way that it improves the tractive effort and, again, the dynamic braking of the DE6s is just very good. Speaking of which, and mind you, I feel like the slug also works as a dynamic brake on the DH4, I don't know that it does, but I feel like when I got rid of the slug when I picked up the DM3, because I kind of just slug out DM3 in that same spot, I feel like I had worse dynamic braking after that. Which kind of makes sense in a way, you know, because like it's still there, it's still working, it's self-contained for dynamic braking, so it makes sense that it might be activating when you request dynamic braking on a DH4. Again, I don't know that it does, but like I could see it being a thing if there's a signal sent out by the DH4 saying, hey, activate the dynamic brake, which there probably is, considering DH4 and DE6 will both dynamic brake if you initiate it on one of them. So the slug probably sees that signal as like, okay, I can do that. So it can be helpful, even if it is just dead weight otherwise when you're using a DH4. This is a fun route with the speed all over the place because of the elevation just going up and down. Also, when are we going to have an automatic speed and elevation change device to put in trains? You know, like, obviously, we've already got the clinometer, but, I mean, like, what's trackside? I don't know. There's plenty of updates to come for this game, to the point where the game probably will only be hitting 1.0 closer to 2030, which is kind of a scary thought, but small dev team working on it slowly but surely, so that's fine. And I mean, they've got a lot of work to do for some of those milestones that they're looking to hit over time. So as a reminder, this entire map is single-tracked, and they want to add AI trains. At the very least, they're going to need to add passing loops every now and again. But if not, then double tracking is required, and yeah, that's going to be a lot of work. That's fine. Like I said, it's one of those long-term projects, essentially, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's a good game, this. It's a little bit boring, I won't lie, especially, like, you know, if you were making YouTube content out of this, you wouldn't want to show this, what I'm showing right now. Right? It's because I'm live streaming this that I can do this. Because with a live stream, you just get the full experience. With like a YouTube video, you get the highlights. But you wouldn't want to necessarily include just driving the train up the coast. I keep calling it the coast. There's mountains to the side here. See? There's water, but there's also mountains. Yeah, this is right where I'm looking, so just clear it out of the way. 50 at the moment, but we're still going up an incline, so no risk at the moment for overspeeding. Plus, I'm sure some people want to watch Derail specifically for the derail part of the name, which, sorry to disappoint, but I'm bad at that. I've certainly come close a few times. That 40 through a 20 comes to mind. Sorry, 40 into a 20. 40 and decreasing. But it was still 40 into a 20. How I didn't derail in that moment, I do not know. Nice kiosk. I had pizza on Friday myself. How are we doing on fuel thus far? Pretty good. Not a ton used. Also, there's a bell that I never use. The horn's more fun. How far up are we? Most of the way to Coal Mine East. Don't have too much further to go. Again, like I said before, I'm gonna loop through Coal Mine East and then turn around here and back into Military Base. I don't know if I've actually explicitly said I'm backing into Military Base, but I'm backing into Military Base because there's no easy way otherwise to do it. Like, there is a turntable at Mill Base, but it's small, so it's not very convenient. So I'd rather just go from that intersection up there, just south of Iron Mine East, and back up. It does mean that I'm not going to be able to use the dynamic brake, because I'm probably just going to be on the back of the consist, but oh well. You don't need the dynamic brake. It's just very nice to have. The trains perform the same forward and back. I think so, outside of the DE2. I don't know that for a fact, though. But the DE2 doesn't have fans on its radiator, so if you run it forward, it'll run cooler than if you run it backwards. That's the only one I know for sure is affected by direction of travel. Otherwise, I don't think it matters. I mean, especially with the DE6, I don't think it would matter, right? Because it's kind of just which way are the wheels spinning, basically. Every time I see a flash, it's like, okay, what just blew up? Except nothing blew up. It's just lighting. Stupid thing. Button. It's a button. Nice, Evil. 4 years. Yes, I did the math right on that. 4 years. Very nice. Thank you very much for staying subscribed. Also, that I know of, but the defect detector's not going off. I don't know if that would go off for a blown up train, but I don't see why something would have died. It's gonna take an hour just to get up to the military base. What if the defect detector is defective? Oh, shut up. slow down for the 30 here. Yeah, redundancies, whatever. I hope that someday they do put in a tunnel here. It would be nice. If they wanted to be accurate, it would be. I mean, yeah, fair. Very high chance of it being defective at that point. But things work reasonably well in this. Bridge. There was a bit of awkward terrain there. Deep. I mean, 1.9% grade downward is not that steep, but it's steep enough. I mean, with the way the economy is, it certainly fits Kiosk, if nothing else. Because the economy is completely fucked. But I don't know for sure. Okay, I should definitely slow down. And see, that's the great thing about having the slug. I have a third dynamic brake, and it just slows down very quickly as a result. That much faster than it would otherwise. I'm guessing those are here to get unloaded because it doesn't make any sense otherwise. Like, why would there just be dump trucks sitting there? It's not like they're being shipped out, you know, they're used, clearly. I don't actually know what this curve speed is. Well, I might drop it down a little bit slower. Seems to be fine at 25, so it's probably 30. There's a loader right there. I still can't believe I came here and the Iron Mine East just to try and find this exact locomotive that I'm in. And I never found it. Because it was at Coal Power, and I can't believe, if you're not in Discord, you might not know this because I'm not sure I mentioned it on stream. But essentially, I'm cheating for a moment, if you want to call it that. Essentially what happened is that I just didn't notice it at Coal Power because it was undercover. But the thing is, it was visible as early as my second stream. I actually posted an image at one point in Discord showing that it was there, visible from the second stream VOD, if you just looked in the right spot. Ay, ay, ay. The fact that it was visible from the main line outside of Coal Power just annoys me, but we got there in the end. I've got all 6 trains, and literally the only ownable locomotive that I, well, not locomotive, but car that I don't own is the caboose, and that's not because I haven't bought the key, clearly. Now, I haven't forgotten the switch up there is still set to go left, but that's what this is for. In a moment. I think I can turn that and that off. How are we doing on fuel? Still decently enough. I can probably get most of the way back to Harbor with just this train. Oh, this button is stupid. Well, yeah, it is. But it's there for you to push. It really is going to take basically an entire hour to get up to military base, isn't it? We've gone most of the way, but we still got a little ways to go. 25-day streak before, but you lost track. Shame. And now Kiosk has a larger streak than you do. I mean, to be fair, even getting up to 5 is kind of difficult because most people don't tune in for my Pokemon streams. So as a result, most people aren't going to have that chance. It's not the size of your streak, but how you use it, says Evil. Chat had to go there. Chat had to go there. I mean, Kiosk is in chat, but... no, Kiosk started it. So that makes sense. We're talking about streaking, he says. I was waiting for a response in chat, but it's still not. There's still been no response. We're talking about streaking, though. Yep. The size of your streak and streaking and... yeah. Mm-hmm. It's really a shame that I don't have chat on screen. Actually, do I? Could I? Does this still work? I saw it just stutter. I don't know if that was just OBS stuttering or not. No, it doesn't work. Honestly, that might not even be in OBS anymore. Yeah, I don't know that it's there. Oh well. I mean, it started when you mentioned it, Kiosk. Oh boy, that's a nearly plus 4% grade. Okay. Actually tighter to the right than it is to the left. Okay. Whoops. There's the iron mine, which we're not going to. Because we don't have to. And also we don't want to because... yeah. I don't even know what's going on in chat anymore, but it's certainly something. 2.5% grade. I may not have derailed, but chat did. Yeah, you don't say. Got there eventually. Alright. Just wait on pulling the brakes off completely until it started rolling uphill, because we are on a bit of a downhill here. So this is a 6 into a 7. That tree is leaning quite a bit. It's not close to the track at least, but it's still leaning quite a bit. I did set the switches ahead of time, obviously, but I'm still gonna need to keep an eye on that just to be sure. Oh, Jesus Christ, kiosk. Chat is completely derailed. You can see the green light of the station building from here. You see it flashing over there? Pretty sure that's it. Yeah, that's definitely it. That flashing light. It looks like an S6, well, SO60 over there, potentially. Right there. Kind of see it. Oh, chat. Okay, now I'm gonna take the throttle out because we're going downhill, and yeah, sure enough, we have to keep around 40 through here. Alt Future, when are we getting dynamic brake controls on the remote? Please. Please. We would all love that feature very much. If you could include that with B100, that would be amazing. Yeah, you're complaining a little, but you're fine. Still a 40 through here, though you can see the Y is 1 kilometer out. And we will be going to the left at that Y. What's end brake? Independent brake. That is the locomotive brake, essentially. As opposed to the train brake being the entire train. Insert Professor Farnsworth here, even if I could talk. There's a guard duck outside. Yeah, you're probably safe. You're right. You are probably safe. Guarding against Florida kiosk. Yes is also an acceptable answer. Guarding against what? Yeah. It's Florida. Alright, we've never done this before, but here we go. Into the military base. A lot of pop-in. I just noticed all those rocks loading in on the hillside. Of course, the trees switch their LODs to a closer detail one. Well, that's really what's happening, is the LODs are changing, and that's causing more detail. Where are we going? B4I? I'm not sure I made sure that we were going to B4I. There! We're going to B4I. Doesn't look like there's anything interesting leaving. That's annoying. To the right, and then to the left. Wait, this is... what I get for doing things from a distance. B4I is that track. B50 is this track. Yeah, kiosk, and it's hard to see it at a distance. Oh well, only a small waste of time. Next break? Yeah, totally, kiosk. You helped me and I didn't realize on my own at all. Nope. Definitely not. I told you it was going to take an hour to get up here, and it did. It's because it's such a twisty route, you pretty much are just averaging like 40 to 50 most of the time. Plus the turnaround. And then, is the thing out here? Yes. And see what I mean about it being a small little turntable? Oh, those are classified. Okay. And some logistical halls. Yeah, that doesn't work unless I'm doing this. 136,000 basically. And then this was 82,500 roughly. Which has got me up to 482,000. Nice. Unfortunately, those aren't worth that much, but yeah. I mean, that's almost worth doing. Imagine the A yard is in there. Yeah. Oh well. Evil, you should know better than to capitalize the R. Anyway, as the bot said, it's time for a break. Drop my frame rate down to 5 FPS so that there's less frames and thus lower load on my GPU, and switch over to here. Oh yeah, as the bot said, it's time for a break. I'm just going to take a few minutes to stand up, stretch, and get away from the computer for a little bit. When I get back, I should auto-mod that, honestly. I guess we'll load up the classified and head back. Don't really have much more to do up here. So, yeah, we'll probably do that. And, yeah, of course, Evil. Yeah, anyway, while I'm away, I am going to run some ads. It's the only time during the stream that I run ads, besides the very beginning and end. Prevents pre-rolls for next hour, and ensures that the gameplay itself is completely ad-free at the small cost of ads rolling when nothing important is happening. You miss out on this wonderful AFK scene. That's it. Of course, if you are a sub or you have Twitch Turbo, you shouldn't see ads. Emphasis on shouldn't, but yeah, do as you will. Yeah. BRB. Weak. I don't think that actually came across the mic. Anyway, I'm back. So, let's get back into it, shall we? Set my frame rate to VSync, because that actually makes it a lot easier to adjust the thing. Anyway, yeah, that is classified, isn't it? What's classified? Don't worry about it. It's above your pay grade. Oh, speaking of being above your pay grade, I'm just gonna walk back into here. Authorized access only. Oh. Looks like it's taped over. Can't see through it at all. Yeah, this is A2S and this is A1L over here. They really like just leaving biohazard stuff all around the place. Hello. No, I can't get in there. I mean, there's nowhere to go. There's nothing really to do. I can get up here, though. Remember seeing the symbol a lot around Umbrella Mansion? Another door that you can't see through. The door there, but it doesn't look like it wants to open. Same with that, same with that. And, yeah, that's, spicy. Oh, cargo transfer. Spent nuclear fuel and classified. Don't forget the missiles, though, and the attack helicopters. And, of course, the tanks. Got a clock in there. Alright, please tell me you're going to the same... Yes. I love it when they're going to the same siding. That is excellent. So you are in B20, you are in B30. It doesn't actually matter. Please put me in the train. Just gotta collect these two things, and then we go from there. Unfortunately, we can go facing the correct direction until all the way just before the harbor military base, which these are both going to, yes. We'll pick up B20 first, and then B30. Doesn't really matter which order we go in. And yeah, I'm just gonna let them unload those things, because it doesn't matter, honestly. Not worth my time. What is classified, though? It's above your pay grade, don't ask. That's all I can tell you. But it's classified, that's for sure. Obviously, I don't need to slow down that much, but I can, so I do. Classified is only 8,000 kilos, huh? Right. Just pull this forward past the next switch. Stop it. Turn, well, flip the switch. Not that one, of course. The switch. You can back it up, hook it up, and that off. I'm very good at hitting my wallet instead of what I should be hitting. To be fair, wallet is 5, remote is 6. That's why. That's why I keep doing it. This does mean, though, that if I stop after tonight, I won't have hauled spent nuclear fuel, because I'm not doing another military run tonight. But I will have at least have done classified. It is Mil 3 Hazmat 3, mind you, so it's something, right? Hate it when it does that. Alright. Send it. How much do we have tonight? Tonight, this time. That's 54. And that is 72. Whoops. Let's go to there. Just call it 130 and good enough. What does classified look like? Did I tell you enough? It's above your pay grade, don't ask. Because not even I know, and I'm the one hauling it. Well, fortunately, as much uphill as there was on the way here, there should be a fair amount of downhill. So that's nice. Yeah, there's the biohazard symbol. There was also a nuclear symbol on one of the barrels back in the base somewhere inside. So, yeah. Spicy stuff that you don't want to get on the wrong side of. Of course, I said it's mostly downhill, but it was downhill going into the base, so once we get out of this, then it will be a lot of downhill initially. Oh, also, I should do that, because we want to go left. We are going to have to do the loop around Coal Mine East again, it's whatever. The last shipment took 38 minutes, I've got 88 to do this. They're both going to the same yard, so that's fine. Also, relax, this is a 40, from what I remember. I mean, let's be real, Kiosk. You don't want to be around either. And it'll all help it. Relatively is doing a lot of heavy lifting in that comment? Yeah, obviously. You don't want to be around either, but one is definitely relatively better than the other. Maybe. I'm not paying attention to the clinometer much, but it's being a nuisance. But you can see it's downhill from here. Or at least not as uphill. So that's nice. Yeah, now we're going downhill. By the way, how much fuel do we have? Plenty! Good. $40 to the left, but it's a downhill. 1.4% downhill. Okay. So coal mine east we know is good to go. I'm just going to have to flip the switch. We're going to come in this way. We're already good through. But I am going to want to go right here. And then I can back it in after going through that Y. So I guess B7I, I can actually set that right now. B7I is straight ahead. Cool. Stupid uphill. I was told by myself that this was gonna be downhill. Oh, well, I mean, there you go. Minus 4% grade for just about. This is an 80 down here? Jesus. Yep. We are dropping, so let's slam on those brakes. Hey, Dingle. I love how good the dynamic brakes are on the DE6s. It's just so good. Like, look, I just slowed down so much, and yet the brakes are normal temperature. Because they weren't used at all. So good. Still a 50. I can't get a setting on it that I want. maybe it'll work better now, but one notch was going too fast, the other notch was going slower than I wanted. What a nuisance. Slow down a little bit through the switch. It says 50, but... eh. Also, I could pick up another DE6. I see that they unloaded the new dumps. Yeah, what do you call them normally? Yeah, that would be a crime most heinous, going slower. You don't say. Must go faster. I mean, the emote, to be fair, the emote is faster, not slower. That should be sufficient. As a reminder, we have to do this because the intersection here going into Coal Mine East is a Y and not a triangle. Which means that if you want to go further south, you have to go at least onto the viaduct there, if not around the loop here if you want to continue heading forward. Bit of a nuisance that, honestly, but is what it is, not you. You. Just check the lazy way to see if the back end of the train is out of the curve, which it mostly was. So as long as I don't go above 50, we should be fine through here. There's that DE6 again. Not that I need one. Not that I need two, because, you know, I've got two and a slug. Which the slug is painted nicely now. I never even got to use the mod that allows me to repaint it. I never got to use the mod because they added the functionality to the base game before I actually repainted it. I was gonna wait until I had this restored, but that took so long. It didn't matter anymore. Right. I remember now, that's a 30. And it's still a 30 up around this curve up here, too. Fortunately, it's downhill, so I only need to use the dynamic brake. Don't need to use the throttle. Still got a fair ways to go before Harbor, though, but we're through Coal Mine East, at least. Apparently, the 5 starts there. We are slowly picking up speed. In no rush either, so just let it pick up speed via gravity. Doesn't matter. I like how it changes the circuitry around, even though not actually using it. Makes sense. Need to be ready to activate the engines at any point. Motors, whatever. But you want to have it in the right configuration for the speed you're going. It's going faster. Slowly but surely, we're going faster. We've just about doubled the speed since getting around that curve. And physics dictates that I don't go much faster. It's a shame, when I was coming down or up this way, it was dark out, so you couldn't see much. Now that we're going down this way in the daylight, we're on the wrong side of the track to be looking out at the scenery, really. I was one above the speed limit, though. Okay. Start that up, I guess. Oh, never mind. It's a speedier process getting back, at least, because of this. Instead of struggling to get up the hill because I didn't want to start up the second DE6, I'm instead just flying down the hill at the speed limit. Thereabouts. It's going down, so if anything, it's going to drop to 50 shortly. So where is the next speed limit change? It's right there, and yeah, it's a 50. Also, squeaky chair in the background, I'm sure you can hear that. Well, it will have taken less than 24 in-game hours to complete the run up and back. However, it's already been about 12 hours. So it's still taken most of that time. Still gotta respect the 50 from before. Can't let it speed up too much. At least until I'm out of the 50. I beg your pardon? Yeah, I know that the signage is procedurally generated. But, there are definitely some spots where the signage is questionable compared to what the track indicates. So I've definitely got some more intense grinding sounds around corners that I wouldn't necessarily expect that from. But I'm sure they'll be fixed with time. Like I was saying on the way up. You know, it's not a very big team working on this game, and they've got a lot of plans, a big roadmap laid out. Actually, it's 70 going down to 50, so why bother? Of course, what I said, sticking around the speed limits, isn't entirely true, but when there's a small section of 70, gotta slow down to 50 immediately after. By the time I pick the speed up, I'm gonna have to be removing it again, so... They're going. Are they gonna redo the map? I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, I also talked about this a bit on the way up, but... You know, they're going to add AI traffic eventually, which is either going to require the doubling of rail sets or passing loops to be implemented. And either way, that's going to take a lot of work to implement fully. So there's going to be a lot of reworking of the rail network, no doubt. And I wouldn't be surprised if a lot gets changed as a result. Plus the that other map that they're apparently going to do eventually as well. It'll be a while before we see any of that, but that's fine. Honestly, what we have now is already really good. Yeah, the game has changed since the beginning, for sure. I mean, heck, one of the most recent additions is City South. That didn't used to be there. At least part of this route didn't used to be here. I think this bypass here over Goods Factory wasn't there. There's been a number of recent changes, relatively recent. Devs are working on the game and slowly but surely adding more and changing and making a better game, better product. Okay, now we're going back to downhill, it looks like. Oh yeah. Hey, Flykin. Run up to the first Y. I technically could have come the other way back. You know, this way. Would have been different. I have gone that way already. But, yeah. Still better price than other Sims. Yeah, true. I imagine the price will eventually go up, but for right now, at least, it is on the relatively cheaper side, considering what you get, especially after B99.4 even, with the extra stuff. You know? And of course those headlights. And look at how much of a difference they make even in the daytime. Like, the value that you get for your money right now is already pretty damn good. And it's only going to get better with time. This is one of those games where I feel like in the future I'd be happy to buy it again because it's just that good. As simple as it is, in the sense that, like, yeah, I'm just hauling trains, you know, I'm just driving, quote-unquote, trains around set tracks. It's a relatively small map. Always going to the same locations. I mean, oh my how many runs did I make between Harbor and Machine Factory? You know? And yet, there's still something about it that's just so good. It's gonna be a shame to put this aside. I mean, I'm sure I'll return to it every now and again. Need to earn that money, after all. But in time. Copy just for your VR. Yeah, that's... Relax. That's one luxury I unfortunately don't have at the moment is VR. Not that I would be using it in this, not on stream at least. VR and streaming is, you know, it's not the best mix. It can work. That's not always the best, but yeah. Well, my GPU does have a USB-C port on it. That could, in theory, be used for a VR headset. Could it require USB-C at least? I don't have a headset. And also, it's a 2080 Ti, so I don't know how well... quite how well it'd be able to run games. I mean, it wouldn't be terrible, obviously. But the 2080 Ti is definitely showing its age a bit compared to the newer wastes of money. Yeah, it'd be fine. It would be fine. But that's like, I'm saying that partially because you watch my GTA streams at all on the weekend. One of the recent updates to the race script added frame rates to the leaderboard. And so you can now see that most people that are taking part in racing are running above 120 FPS or at 120 FPS, you know. Versus I'm stuck at 60 because that's the fair thing to do, and, well, it's locked because I've played on other servers before, which do request that you be at 60 FPS. And in GTA, a higher frame rate does make a difference. I could turn my frame rate up, but, without turning the visual settings down a tad, I can't do it. 1440p 120 in GTA 5, even single player, is pushing the 2080 Ti towards its limits. It's a good card, don't get me wrong, but it shows that it's a bit older compared to 30 or 40 series cards, or AMD equivalents, I guess. Unless, of course, you're talking about ray tracing, then it just sucks. It's not the worst, but oh boy, does it not work that well. It's first gen, what do you expect? But yeah, for RTX performance, 20 series is not great. Plus, because NVIDIA sucks, we also don't get rebar on 20 series, so thanks NVIDIA. There are technically ways around that, but I don't think my motherboard has dual BIOS support, and I'm not taking that chance at bricking my motherboard, so yeah, no rebar for me. I mean, Evil, DLSS originally was fuck awful, but the newer versions of DLSS are compatible with the older cards. Like, even my 20 series, my 2080 supports DLSS 4. It looks fine. Yeah, I'd say RT is more of an issue than DLSS. We don't get frame gen or anything like that, but I mean, that's not the end of the world. I don't mind that at all, personally. Yeah, I mean, 4000 series, I mean, you should have AV1 encoders on that at the very least, which, I mean, that much is nice. I don't know if you need that at all, but I don't have that. 2080 doesn't have rebar, no. None of the 20 series cards officially have rebar, because it only officially was added in 30 series, and they never backported it. Again, there are ways to enable it, but it requires modifying your motherboard's BIOS, UEFI, whatever. I recognize the difference. You know what I'm talking about, right? Anyway, yeah, you have to modify your motherboard to be like, oh yeah, okay, that can be enabled, and then it can be working at least partially. But yeah, by default, no, it doesn't work. That's already set. Frame generation is a bad idea. Your TV has taught you that? Yeah. 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 Which is why I'm not bothered about not having frame gen on 20 series. Frame gen made a wingsuit flap randomly instead of wingsuiting. Oh boy. Oh yeah, no, Flyken, I'm aware. I'm aware that those exist. The problem is, I don't have a budget with which to acquire anything at this point in time, so... yeah. I am well aware of the external BIOS flashers. And, you know, if I did take the chance, I would know that I would need to source that sort of thing. But because I cannot easily do that right now, no, I will just stick to my rebarless setup. Kind of annoying, but is what it is. Now, in theory, we're just backing this in and that's that. But yeah, the, between not getting some of the new fanciness that even, like, 30 series got, and, you know, no rebar support, and just the, not so great first gen RT performance, 20 series owners kind of got shafted. Again, first gen tech. It's understandable that it's not going to be as good, especially with newer iterations, but there are certainly some aspects of 20 series cards that have not aged as well. And to be clear, my card was given to me as a gift. I did not buy this 2080 Ti. It was a gift. I'm not complaining. I'm just stating fact. I am very happy with this card. Because the alternative was either a 950M in my laptop, which was way too powerful for the CPU in said laptop, or a 780, which is so old now that it's not even officially supported anymore. But yeah, I'm happy with my 20 series card. It just shows its age. Oh, fun, Flaken. Yeah, I mean, Evil, unless you really need some aspect of the 50 series card, 9070 looks better in general because, if nothing else, it's not NVIDIA. But, yeah, other expenses come first, obviously. Trucks, missiles, and nothing. up here now. 32 minutes on the way back instead of 38 on the way up. 128.3. And 98.1. Very good. And I started out the stream with 200-some thousand, now we're up to 709,000. Just like that. This way. .3070 Ti feels like a downgrade. I mean, yeah, the 10 series was definitely really solid. So that's understandable. We're just going to go to City South, because I don't have anything else to do here. Switch the reverser, and then apply throttle. Christ. I was right up against the load, so that wouldn't have damaged it other than maybe slightly grinding the wheels down, which who cares. Fun flaking. $750 that did work, yeah. I mean, my original desktop, how I originally built it before it got upgraded to what it is now, which is no slouch, just a bit dated. A bit. Just a bit. And I do mean that, like, literally. I'm not saying it's years out of date. Just a little. The first desktop was an i7-6700 ripped out of an Optiplex. Partnered up with that GTX 780 I mentioned before. In 2021. It worked. It was a lot better than my laptop. That's fair, Flake, and it doesn't. That's fine. Oops. Wrong button. But yeah, that's what this started out with, because again, before that I was using the crap top, which was, what, an i5-7200U? Efficiency CPU for a laptop, not even, like, performance-oriented in the slightest? And a GTX 950M, which was held back by said CPU. So yeah, the one generation CPU downgrade was an upgrade, for sure. Nice, Flakin'. Oh yeah, the iGPU. Excellent. I've actually never had a laptop. Well, okay, I might have briefly had a laptop that had only an iGPU, but even my original laptop that, like, I actually had was mine and wasn't just a temporary loaner, had a dedicated GPU in it, which was a Radeon Mobile something. I think it was a 6000 series. Which was fine. For the time. It had like 1 gig of VRAM. Yeah, for the time it was fine. It played Minecraft at more than 12 FPS, that computer at least. Maybe not by much, in the later years especially, but it did. Or had a laptop with dedicated GPU. To be fair though, I kinda needed it because I was going to college for engineering. Mechanical engineering specifically, so I needed a more powerful computer. Yes, I know, crap top. Believe it or not, it worked well enough for CAD. It was definitely not as performant, relatively speaking, but by that point it was actually fine. Okay, stop accelerating. $12 gigs of RAM. Nice mismatch. My original laptop only had 8 gigs DDR3. And now Max's. I mean, you want to go back to the first computer I ever had that was given to me, not that I bought or anything. I have an all-in-one 95. Like, it's a compact Presario. I think it's Presario. Is it Presario? It's a compact all-in-one that ran Windows 95. Though it was upgraded, 40 megabytes of RAM and a 1 gigabyte hard drive. It was a good computer. Couldn't run Roller Coaster Tycoon 2 worth a damn, but, you know. Nice, Flykin. And that's only part of the message. Okay, we can go faster through here. $5600X and a 4060. I mean, that's a good pairing. That is certainly not a bad machine. Yeah, fair, Flykin. It's fine. Yeah, I haven't used the 95 in a while either. I think the thermal compound on the CPU isn't doing so well either, probably. But to be fair, it has a heat sink and that's it. And it's one of those large heat sinks, you know, like large in the sense that the sticky uppy bits were large. I.e. it was passive cooling. But still should probably redo the thermal compound on that before doing it. That computer was fun because the motherboard slides out on a tray when you unscrew it from the back, and I think it has thumb screws even. Fun system that. I think I stole the floppy drive audio cable. Was it the floppy drive? Did floppy drives have audio cables? Maybe it was a CD drive. Either way, I stole the audio cable out of it for something and I never put it back. And yeah, I don't even know what the CPU is in that, but I know it had upgraded RAM and storage at the very least. Ah, I see, Flykin. We're pulling this up here. Alright, that's sufficient. That button. Yeah. Just, cut it down. Release the brake. Do that. And what's gonna happen next, though at this point it's not gonna happen until after the next break, because that's coming up shortly, is we're gonna take this little nugget over to here. I need to fetch the caboose. Yeah, I've also, somewhere in my room, got an old 95 tower. 95? 98 tower. That ran Roller Coaster Tycoon 2 a lot better. And yes, that's my benchmark. Because that's what I played a fair amount of as a kid. Come so far. And yet I'm back in this thing, which I never really used directly all that much. But Here we are. I've even got the exterior light switch in place, even though it's not hooked up to anything at this point. And the amp limiter, of course, is in effect. So the thing about my my 95 all-in-one is that, for whatever reason, it was the family PC, and it was bought in 95 or so. And then in 98 or so, the Rents bought the 98 tower that I mentioned. And so, because it was still under warranty, they sent the 95 in just to get it checked and everything. And then they gave it to me with some level of supervision, but it was effectively my computer. So I've had that since the late 90s. Which is fun. That only has a 3 1/4 inch floppy though, and the CD drive. But since Evil's talking about 5 1/2 inchers. You have that mixed? I think you have that backwards, don't you? 3 1/2, 5 1/4. Either way. Fun machine, that. I know the bug has probably been fixed. Alright, it's been fixed, and thus it's probably not an issue anymore, but I'm still gonna just come to a stop. Yeah, I've never had a server myself, and I've just repurposed old computers, or laptops, should I say, to run as quote-unquote servers. MS-DOS on your Raspberry Pi Zero. Nice. Oh, I guess we're back here, huh? Alright. Yeah, obviously, because it was Windows 95, the 95 desktop all-in-one thing was MS-DOS based. But didn't ever really use it in as a DOS machine. It was always a Windows 95 machine. And I primarily played it used it to play games like Roller Coaster Tycoon. And Roller Coaster Tycoon 2, but slower. It really is amazing how much worse that played Roller Coaster Tycoon 2. If I had analog capture, I would show it on stream at some point, but I don't at the moment. And there is no way in hell I am getting digital video out of that system. Not a chance. So, yeah, that will just have to wait for maybe a future date and time. Been swapping them around randomly for 30 years. Fair enough. Anyway, yeah, that would be rather difficult, RB. That's one good thing in my case, is that I have both my old laptop, which has a Blu-ray drive, and my PS3. PS3 is a good console to own, turns out. Anyway, time for a break. I'm just going to take a few minutes, stand up, stretch, and get away from the computer for a little bit. When I get back, we'll continue with what I was just doing, which was going to get the caboose. But for now, I am going to run some ads. It's the only time during the stream that I run ads. Hello, wall of text. It's the only time during the stream I run ads besides the very beginning and end. It prevents pre-rolls for next hour, ensures that the gameplay is completely ad-free at the small cost of ads. Now, when you only have to miss this AFK scene, it gives you time to go up and go do something anyway if you need to. So, yeah, just bear with me. I'll be back in no time, and we'll get back to playing more Derail and maybe talking more about computers. Yeah, no, it would be a different thing, but again, my budget does not fit newer machines, unfortunately. Someday, maybe. Not now. Anyways, BRB. Alrighty, I am back, and Flaken, I feel like ripping GameCube games was not that easy, because I would have done it by now if it was. So, as far as I'm aware... Oh, I didn't turn my frame rate down. Oh well. As far as I'm aware, it isn't super straightforward, because I have at least one drive, if not multiple, that have the center spindle. But I could be wrong. Because, you know, I've backed up my PS3 and PS2 games because PS3. I haven't done my PS1 games because, oh god, is it slow. It takes forever to back them up, so I just haven't gotten around to it because I'm lazy. And also, drive space is at a premium at the moment for me. But, yeah, the GameCube games are the ones that I'm not entirely sure on, but I don't know, maybe I have to look into it again. Not that I have the space for it. Especially since GameCube emulation is actually really easy since Dolphin doesn't require a BIOS. Makes it a little bit easier. Actually, another thing. Technically, because I backed up all my games, I could stream PS2 games, but I haven't because you need a BIOS for the emulator and, you know, legal stuff around emulators. But it's not Nintendo, so it's fine, because they're the ones who seem to have the stick stuck up their ass about it. But, I just hit a button. I'm not sure what it did. Hopefully nothing. I don't think it did anything. Yeah, I don't do it because I don't have a PS2 BIOS. Not because I can't get one. I have a PS2 Slim. You can get the BIOS off of them, no problem. I just don't feel like writing the disk to dump the BIOS. Again, I'm lazy. I have plenty of writable disks. I have a computer that can write it. I just haven't done it. Also, I don't have any displays set up that are analog compatible. I have the component cable for the PS2 and PS3, because it's interchangeable. Thank you, Sony, for using the same standard for so long. But, oh boy, already doing 50. 50 in this feels scary. Flaken, that would technically not be legal, so no. I'll get it myself. Like I said, I can get it myself, I just need to get around to it. But I'm lazy. And also, again, as I was saying, the analog output. I need to pull my old TV out, and I'm lazy. I made support that size disc. Yeah, okay. Yeah, sure. No, I like to do things legit. And since I have the PS2 that you can dump it from, I'll do it that way. It's the same thing, like, I've said many times before, my 3DS... Heck, we were talking about this last week. My 3DS has all my Pokemon games on it. How did I dump the games, right? I didn't grab them from online. I dumped all the BIOSes, or the... Well, not the BIOSes, but the ROMs, using either a ROM dumper or my 3DS. I did that legit. That's how I like to do things. Plus, you know, if I do it legitimately, then it removes any possibility of, in theory, any possibility of legal repercussions. The law is stupid in regards to emulation at times, so maybe not, but yeah. Yeah, and I was just talking about how I've dumped all my Pokemon games, so all the copies on my 3DS are legit as a result. But we were talking about that last week. I don't know, maybe I need to look into that whole GameCube thing again, because I think... I don't know. I need to just try it. It requires wiping all the dust off my old laptop, but... so be it. I think that has the spindle in the center, so it can at least hold the disc. Heck, maybe the Optiplex would do it as well. I mean, most computers, if they didn't have the spindle, they had the indent in the disk tray. Whether or not they actually recognize them properly is a different story, I guess. What's the speed limit through here? I don't even know. Probably fairly high looking at it. I don't go this way often, to be fair. And I think one of the last times I went this way, going this way specifically, I went... I might have gone up this way, but I went through there, which was... yikes. I don't know. Ultimately, everything loops back to the whole issue of I just don't have enough storage because I'm effectively in the process of losing, or potentially losing, 3 terabytes of storage. Yeah, no, Flykin, I get it. I mean, like, I've said this many a time before on stream, but I pirated Satiscracktory initially. Because I'm not exactly from a wealthy family either. And while I should be doing better for myself, I'm not! So... yeah. But yeah, I originally pirated Satiscracktory. I own it now, and I put hundreds of hours in my legitimate copy, but, like, I pirated it initially to try it out. You know, it was about when I started looking into modding. It's like, oh wait, you need to use a thing that only recognizes the actual, like, legitimate copies? Well, that's kind of annoying. Wait, that's fine, just buy the game. So I did. And then I deleted the pirated copy, transferred my save over, and the rest is history. There are valid use cases for piracy. Just pirating games because you don't feel like spending money on them, even if you could afford to do so, is not necessarily a good reason for it. But that's a more in-depth conversation than I care to get into, honestly. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, that's another thing with how unoptimized modern games tend to be. Again, I'm not, to be clear, I'm not advocating for piracy. I'm not saying that it's fine to do. There might be cases where it's more acceptable than not, but at the end of the day, you need to look at your local laws and understand whether... laws? And understand what they are, and if it's illegal, then understand the risk you take by breaking those laws. I do have to be careful about that. I can't just say, yeah, no, go pirate everything, because that's not good. Don't say that. But, yeah. Damn it, now you got me thinking about getting shit set up again to try backing up things. I do wish I had an easy way to convert analog to digital, because money is an issue. Yeah, that's a good use case for that, absolutely. If you know that regions are typically, well, to put it bluntly, typically on the poorer side, then yeah, putting a discount on a game in that region can certainly be a helpful thing. On the other hand, by making regional pricing differences, you block the ability for people to gift the game to others. At least if they're in a different region to you. That's fair. Like, and that's actually really cool when devs are willing to do that. I know Kelly has tried to gift me a couple of games over time, and Steam's been like, no, you can't do that. Thanks, Callie. You've done enough, but thank you anyway for your attempts. I don't even remember what games they were. It wasn't much. I think one of them was Audio Surf, which I ended up getting myself anyway. My welcome? Oh, okay. I don't know what that has to do with this. I didn't even know you were here, but hi, Callie. Ah, fair. I'm being careful because I know what corner is coming up next. Yeah, it's a 70 and it's decreasing. You had to buy the game anyway, so it's your welcome. Fair. And then I never ended up playing it on stream because I just didn't really enjoy it enough, personally. Well, I bought it, so it's fine, right? It was a good idea, but oh well. Yeah, I've definitely gotten a few games over the years gifted to me. Heck, this was indirectly gifted to me, actually. Like, I bought Derail myself, but the money that I used came from a friend, so came from somebody helping out. You're not tricking me this time, game. You're not getting me. Not throwing me off. Also, that's probably why, you can't see it now, but there's a 1.5% grade up that curve. That's probably what kept me from derailing. The combination of actively slowing down and the fact that that's an uphill is probably why I didn't derail that time. If I had to guess. There's a clip of that somewhere. I was going about 40 miles an hour or kilometers an hour rather, excuse me, into that corner, into a 20. You only have to be going 10 over to risk derailment. So, yeah, not ideal. The only problem about my old laptop is it's slow. Do I even... Yeah, I think I have a drive in there. Actually, do I? Hold on, do I have a boot drive in there? I might not. Because I originally had a 128 gigabyte SSD in there. I mean, it came with two 750 gig hard drives, but I swapped in an SSD just to make it a little bit better. Even if it was only 128 gig, it was fine. I was using it as a quote-unquote server with the desktop, like, regular user edition of Windows. I think I took that SSD out and put it in the Optiplex. So I'm not sure. Maybe one of the old hard drives is in there with a bootable partition? That'd be fun if not. Yeah, it is interesting, isn't it, Flakin? Oh. Okay. Slow down. Didn't that also donate something to the crap top? No? No. Interesting. No, the drives in the crap top were bought brand new. There it is. You just slam into the caboose immediately. Why not? Was thinking the fans? It's a laptop, Evil. Oh. I had both of those laptops running simultaneously. Caboose. Got this career manager here. Fees, 4,300. That's fine. Drawer there. Yes, I know it's very dark in here. I don't actually know if there's lighting. This does have a brake. Nice that you can see the brake pipe. Yeah, I shouldn't have to explain what that is. This used to come with a signal booster and a remote charger, rapid charger, which I think also worked on the flashlight. But as of B99, I believe, that is no longer the case, or was it B99 4, actually? Did not want me going out that back door like that. As of B99 4, they removed that, and now the booster and charger are viable separately. Yeah, that is quite an abrupt drop down. Low cliff. Don't fall off that. You're not going to have a good day if you do. That is a door. Not that. Alright, so now we're just going to back up back to this switch. Also, special caboose icon. We're going to back up beyond this switch and then drive back to City South. Yeah, I never really got involved or messed around with like bucket or spigot or anything like that, so I'm not too familiar with that myself. I'm sorry, what? How am I up here? Okay. Well, that was a thing. Yeah, we don't have any lights back here. But, okay, you don't need to see. We won't be out here for too long. You know, we're losing speed. It's fine. I'll be right back. Okay, I am back, and I have a somewhat dusty laptop. It was partially covered, but part of it was not. God, this thing is huge. It's a 17-inch HP Pavilion DV7 something or other. So it's bloody massive. I think this weighs like 6 or 7 pounds. A fair amount. I need to switch you. But I grabbed this. Well, I can open it up. Part of the reason why it's so heavy is because it's got a fair amount of aluminum in it. It might be light, but it's still metal. Does it power on? No. Am I surprised? Not in the slightest. This isn't even the original battery, but it's still very old. You know, the one thing I do miss about this laptop, it has a fingerprint scanner. You know how nice it was to just be able to swipe my finger over it and log in that way? It was so nice. Anyway, if I take the battery out, I can then pop the back cover off, and yeah, I have 2 drives in there, but I don't know what's on them. It's got the mini PCIe wireless card, it's got 2 sticks of DDR3 RAM, what are they at? Replace with HP spare. Is it on the other side? It's a Samsung kit, but HP stuck another sticker over it, so I can't tell. What about the other DIMM? So DIMM. Oh, I'm gonna regret pulling this out, aren't I? Yeah, they stuck a sticker over that one as well. Well, bastards. Okay, that's back in. And that is, I think, sufficiently back in. Yeah, there's 2 spinning rust platters in here. I mean, there's probably multiple platters in each, but you weren't allowed to use it. Shame. There it is. Thanks, Chaos. Thanks for choosing to use your Prime here for probably better part of 39 months. I don't know, you might have gotten a gift sub at some point. Okay, that's over there. I'm not grabbing the power brick and hooking it up because I don't really have the disk space. I actually saw a notification come through about my sub goal, because Chaos sub was the last one that we were missing. What am I doing here? You forward. And then we go this way. But yeah, I saw a little thing saying, you are 50% of the way to completing your sub goal before the sub actually came through. So, spoiler alert, Twitch. Yeah, thank you very much, Kiosk. Appreciate it, as always. I'd have to boot that up and see if it actually wants to boot or not. That computer's actually old enough that it has a proper BIOS. And as a result, it has an MBR instead of GPT? Something like that. I only had to rewrite that MBR once. I'm not kidding either. Something got messed up, and so I rewrote the boot record in order to get it working again. That was fun. I've had a number of operating systems on that laptop. Windows 7, Windows 8, Windows 8.1, Windows 10, Ubuntu. Don't ask me what flavor. It was probably 12 dot something, but it did have Ubuntu on it for a while. A little while. Never really used it though, so it got replaced eventually. That computer for most of its life was dual booting. Understandable. Yeah, fortunately, since I had to rewrite that MBR the one time, it was, it was fun, but, you know, I haven't had to deal with that so much since. I think it was my fault it got screwed up in the first place. But, oh well. We're gonna take this back to City South, shove it into the, I'm gonna have to get the DE6s out of the way, aren't I? I don't know what the speed limit is around this curve, so I'm gonna slow down. We might have been fine at up to 60, but that tells me we wouldn't have been. Computers only do what you tell it to. I didn't really talk about this on Saturday night, but I actually had a bit of a scare Saturday night, speaking of computers, and telling it, doing what you tell it to. Yeah, I don't know about that. I'm not sure what happened even still to this point. But I stepped away from my computer for a little bit, and when I came back, I had no output. The computer was on and running, but there was no sign of life beyond that. Screens were not even black, they were just no output. Didn't respond to anything, and when I plugged my capture card in, it did its usual 2 flashes of white to say that it's connecting, and then a flash of red to say that something was wrong, and it couldn't connect. So I ended up rebooting the system. Just use the reset button, because I don't have a cat that's allowed in my room, so I can get away with that. And after sitting on that screen for a while, it eventually went into the BIOS. Okay. So I go to boot a partition in the advanced section of the BIOS, and there was no option. So I rebooted it and, you know, mashed F11 for way longer than was necessary, because I know you can just hold it. But mashing is more fun. I did that until finally, after again an extended period of time, it got into the boot menu screen where it told me that there were no boot devices found. You what? Now, I was a bit... I was confused and concerned, but I also was kind of like, okay, something's just fucking up here. It's not necessarily gone or corrupted, because I have 2 bootable partitions on this computer on 2 separate drives. So I just decided to do the smart thing, shut it down, unplug it, hold the power button down for about 30 seconds to drain the caps, then plug it back in, turn it back on, and it booted up just fine. But I don't know what happened, but for some reason the computer forgot that the bootable partitions existed for a little bit, and yeah, that's not a fun experience. Oh, that... okay, Flykin. Yeah, I mean, if you press it at the right time, it might work on one input, but if you hold it, most modern systems at least, apparently, it should work, but mashing is not only more reliable in general, but it's also more fun, just sitting there mashing. So long as the computer doesn't take a full minute to realize that there's no bootable partitions, which is wrong, but, you know. Yeah, no, I don't know what the right timing on it is. Just mash. Just mash it. It's fine. Yeah, that middle school teacher of yours, Flykin. Oh my. Oh my. Okay. Yeah. Get what you paid for, or something like that. Yeah, I can't imagine things went well for her after that. Anyway, yeah, I have my computer specifically set to take longer on that post screen, just so I have ample time to hit the buttons that I want and actually see what each one does, so I don't have to remember. But yeah, it shouldn't take like a minute sitting on that screen for anything to happen. But again, when it somehow has forgotten what the boot drives are, where the bootable partitions are, I slowed down more than I needed to. Yeah, that can cause that. Like I said, I still don't know why. I looked into the event viewer and there wasn't really anything useful there. So, I mean, I didn't look super hard, so I probably missed something, but I don't know. Maybe my computer blue screened? This computer does that. I think, I mean, it could be because I'm using a mixed set of RAM. Alright, chill. Thought that was a 50, but fine. Yeah. It might have just been a blue screen, because that's something I have with an issue with this system. Specifically this OS install. Hopefully when I eventually begrudgingly update to Windows 11, it'll be fine. But for now, at least, that's something that I've continued to put up with. It's rare. It only happens like once every few months, typically, but maybe that was it. It didn't auto-restart, which I have it set not to do, but it never showed me that it blue screened, so probably forced BOSODs to get you to update? No, it wouldn't be that. I know why you're saying that, but it wouldn't be that. You know, Flykin, I honestly hate it when people say that. Because the main reason why people say that goes back to a misunderstanding that Apple was... Honestly, they didn't handle it well, but... Yeah, it kind of pisses me off that people say that. Not because I'm an Apple fanboy or anything, but like, I had one of the iPhone 6S's that had the battery issue. So I know fully well why they implemented that slowing down feature. I mean, if you want to say that there's other reasons for it slowing down, fair enough, but like... The one specific to the random shutdowns and such, that one... Nah. It was implemented because the 6S was too powerful for its battery. However the fuck that works. Which, I know from first-hand experience how it happens. Yeah. I got a free battery replacement out of it. It didn't fix the issue, mind you. It patched it for a while. Until the battery got old enough that it started having that issue again. But, yeah. Yeah, no, I mean... Honestly, I can't tell you how bad things run because... Yeah, that's fuel cut off. because my phone is jailbroken, and my phones have pretty much always been jailbroken. So that naturally just slows the system down anyway. But newer versions of iOS definitely do not run as well on older devices. Sorry, not newer ones. If they run poorly on newer devices, then that's just Apple fucking things up. But that original, like, Apple is slowing down iPhones purposefully bullshit that happened back in iOS 10. Yeah, they just didn't communicate well why they were forcing phones to run in a lower performance mode, and it was because the iPhone 6S's were shutting down unexpectedly because the batteries were degraded and the phone couldn't keep up. That specific instance of it. Yeah, that was just Apple not communicating properly. A new UI that they're pushing out? I don't know. I mean, WWDC is next week. So, I'll see then at the very least. I haven't heard about the UI as much. I have heard that they're jumping forward with the iOS versioning to make it match up with the year, which... fair enough, I guess? Yeah, so going from iOS 18 released last year to iOS 26 released this year. And then... macOS, iPadOS, watchOS, tvOS are all apparently doing the same. It does make sense, but... yeah, it's a choice. It is certainly a choice. Waiting. In theory, I should be able to shift it to reverse no problem before it stops, so long as I don't give it any throttle. But I still like to, not. Apple is doing a Samsung. I don't know, did Samsung do that as well? Version 6,000? That's a bit of a jump. Yeah. Okay. Went from the S10 to S20. Oh. Yeah, as someone who still owns an iPhone for some reason, yeah, I'm not familiar with any Android phones. No, we're good. We're good. I thought I was misaligned for a second there. Yeah, the year-based versioning makes sense. It's just changing it this late in that's kind of odd. Yay, I remembered for once. Pull it a little bit forward, would you? What was that flickering about? Well, that's interesting. S4 to S7 to S24. Yeah, that just makes it sound like you didn't update for the longest time. I don't even know what I want because all I've had for years now is an iPhone. But I'm probably done with them, but at the same time, like, what do I use instead? I don't fucking know. Let's just get the family photo. Of course, the trains aren't very well pushed around. Like, the DM3 is a little far back, I would say. But I don't feel like dealing with it. Little far back, you're fine. You're a little far back. You're fine, and then... it's whatever. Android phone, iPad, and Windows PC. Hell! Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I mean, like, I could be less happy about what I've got at the moment. You know, it's an iPhone, but it is a jailbroken iPhone. But also, it's a rootless jailbreak because fuck, having a proper jailbreak, I guess. I don't know. It's stupid. I don't like it particularly, but then I don't have the money to buy anything newer. And then would I even want an iPhone? I don't know. The newer iPhones aren't jailbreakable. Fun fact! The newest iPhone that can be jailbroken is an iPhone 14. Oh god, they're not going to change the numbering of the phones as well, are they? Please don't. But yeah, the newest iPhone that can be jailbroken is an iPhone 14, and it can only be jailbroken on an older version of iOS that my older iPhone 10 is running. And remember, my phone is jailbroken. So I can jailbreak my older phone on a newer version than a newer iPhone can. Which is why I have this phone. It's jailbreakable for life. It has a low-level boot ROM exploit. It's wonderful. But I don't know. Unless somebody finds a boot ROM exploit sooner than not. At this point, it's kind of the last of its kind, for now at least. Alright. I'm about to get run over. I have to get back into this because I need to stop now. Because I forgot to put this back into place. Phone shouldn't cost you a mortgage. Yeah, and that's why I bought an iPhone 10, because it was used. And so it was, like, significantly cheaper. Like, I think because this was the higher storage capacity model, which, yeah, iPhone doesn't have expandable storage. Wonderful aspect of those phones. Not happy about it either. It was already, like, 2.5 years old at the time I got it, but it was the newest phone that had the boot ROM exploit. So that's why I got it. And it's worked for me. Fair enough, Lycan. Do I really need 2 bars of throttle to back into here? No? Did I give it 2 clicks of throttle anyway? Yes. Alright, now the last decision to make, also... Headlights off. Last decision to make is how do I repaint that? Well, in order to repaint it, first I need to actually get some paint. I don't know what the interior of the caboose looks like with demo paint, is the only thing. So let's drop a save and then teleport up to Machine Factory. There's also a little fun fact about my iPhone. For some reason, just because we were talking about phones and such for a while there, for some reason, my phone can no longer open the Notes app without crashing. I've tried reinstalling, I've tried clearing the cache, I've tried resetting the Notes list, but every time I reopen it and attempt to download my existing notes, it crashes. Speaking of crashes, are you going to go at some point here, game? This is taking an awfully long time. Anyway, yeah, it just crashes. I don't know why. My phone is on iOS 16.7 point something because it's an iPhone 10 and that's the newest it can be on. Shut up, Flykin. Meanwhile, my iPad, which is a Mini 2, so it's on iOS 12 because there's not much reason in moving it beyond that version. Not like it can go much further anyway. In fact, I think it might be stuck on iOS 12 regardless, at latest. But anyway, that loads the Notes app just fine. It doesn't have an issue. No, but seriously, game, are you... it null reft. That was before the save, though. Huh. Oh, that was an autosave. I'm not seeing any drive activity. I think it's just done for the moment. I think I have to restart, if anything. But yeah, I have no clue why it won't load on iOS 16, but it'll load just fine on iOS 12. iPad OS 12. Doesn't make sense to me. Well, I told it to shut down. There it goes. I gotta wait for Steam to say that it's shut down. There you go. It's annoying, though. I would kind of like to access the Notes app. I don't have much need to, but I'd still like to do it. But I can't. Do iPads still have a headphone jack? I don't know. Mine does, but that's because it's older than the newest iPhone that had a headphone jack, which is the 6S. I wouldn't be surprised if they do, but I also wouldn't be surprised if they don't. Because Apple. But hey, you know, when they originally removed the headphone jack, they were kind enough to at least include... That's where it's saved. They were at least kind enough to include an adapter to go from Lightning to 3.5 mil. They only did it for 1 year, but they did it. Aren't they so generous? Actually, that's another thing. If I ever got another iPhone, I would need to spend more money if I wanted a power brick that could charge it faster. Okay, we're here. Although it took so long that it's now time to wrap up the stream, apparently. But anyway. And that's another thing, actually. If they don't include the power cable, then, ouch. I know they stopped including the brick. But anyway, yeah, I kinda need the cable and the brick if I want, you know, the higher capacity brick, because I've got a couple of C to A cables, but that's it. I don't have any C to C cables. So if it came with a C to C cable, yeah, I can't do anything with that. I'll just buy it, why not? A bit pricey, but whatever. We'll try it like that and see if I like it. Yeah, don't press F2, press 2. No. City South. Now, it's probably fine. Hopefully it actually loads this time. Yay, it loaded! Fair enough, Lycan. You're not gonna miss out on much anyway. Stream's just about over. Thanks for hanging out though, man. Appreciate it. Have a good one. New 3DS all over again. Yeah, you already have a charging cable. That was a fun one. I did have that issue as well. I had an old 3DS that had the charging cable, but... it does that. I don't know why. So I know that for the demo paint, the outside turns blue. I have no clue what it does for the interior, though. Oh, wow. I mean, okay, let's, fuck's sake. There it is. Let's turn the lights off, because that's causing issues. Where's the trash? I don't think this actually works, but... I'll still throw the trash. I'm just gonna leave that there. Throw the trash in the trash can. Stop with your lights. Please. The electricity's turned off in that one, so it doesn't do that. I mean, the plain wood is a look. That is definitely a look. Very bright in here. Nice autosave. Let's drop a save. And let's see how much I like this. Actually, can you just go over here, please? See if I like it. Because obviously, like, stereotypical caboose is red, right? This one's blue. Imagine the wood's gonna be a nice dark look like that, but what's the rest of it look like? Ah, it's a lighter color than the outside. Okay. I mean, I don't hate that. I mean, of these three right here, how I did this was DVRT outside, demo inside, and then this is DVRT through and through, so maybe I do just go with the blue and say demo through and through? There it is. There's everything. Screenshot. It took a while to get to this point, but we got there in the end. Of course, I don't have the slug in the shot, but like... No, it despawned the other D6. D6. How did it despawn the other D6, actually? Huh? That shouldn't have happened. How did that happen? That shouldn't have happened. I hadn't paid the fees on it. There should be a train right here. It nuked the train, but I am so confused. You don't have one in you. I guess the trash can does work, because that's still there, so there you go. What the hell? I am so confused. It nuked the train on me and cleared the fees without me doing anything. How did I gain... What the fuck is happening? Or was it 617? It might have been 617. Okay, maybe I didn't gain money, but I am... Okay. So, to be clear, you cannot teleport out. How about this? Can I just warp up to the top while opening? Yep. Okay, that's how you do that, apparently. So it was L79 that had wear on it. I remember seeing L79 earlier. There should have been multiple, but L79 is probably the one that I don't own. It wouldn't be you. L20, L60, and it wouldn't be you either. L78, and you're C270, I believe. I specifically remember before having L79 with like $3,000 or $4,000 worth of maintenance on it, which would actually be like 2,000 manual service. And yet, somehow, the slug is here by itself with no other train behind it. I mean, this alone could work as a thumbnail. What a good one at that. I don't get what happened. I mean, it's fine, because, like, the train that I lost here, that wasn't my train, obviously. It was a borrowed train. But why did it despawn? Because I owed money on it. I wonder if it has to do with that janky teleport that didn't seemingly work? Surely that must be why. Seventh Gen Mini does have a headphone jack. Yeah, I mean, if anything, they can afford the extra bit of space in an iPad, but it's Apple, so you never know. And here's the amp limiter. Yeah, they despawned it on me. Because this was the amp limiter out of it. That is weird. Why did it do that? It forcibly despawned a train that I owed money on and cleared the fees on it. That is weird. You know what? One last photo with the lights on, because I didn't get one with the lights on. There. Okay, well, I lost a DVRT DE6 for no reason that I'm aware of. The game just took it away from me. Nice. But no, we're going with that. If I rolled back to here, it would probably still be in place, but I guarantee you it's after this save that it disappeared. Though I didn't actually see it. I don't remember necessarily seeing it. Not that it wasn't there, but I just don't remember whether or not it was there when I was pulling the DE6 up, so I don't know. That's weird. Anyway. I'm down the stream. We're actually past the end of the stream by about 7 minutes now. So let's make this quick. Next stream is on not Friday. When you put in enough power that the amps would go over what you set the amp limiter to, it cuts in and prevents it from going any further. I don't know exactly how it works. Also, let me run that. That's the actual next stream. Yeah, it just steps in and reduces input, I guess, or somehow otherwise limits the amps going through. And then once the necessary output as the amps drop below the limit, it steps back and lets it take back over, lets the train take back over in delivering the requested amount. I don't know exactly how it works in limiting, but yeah, it doesn't let it go above the set amount of limits. It doesn't drop it back down. It just keeps it from going any further. Is in steps though, like the throttle. Yeah, you can. I think it goes like every 2 or 200 amps. You can set it. So like the DE6 is. The red starts at 1200 amps. So I have it set to 12. And so I can put full throttle into it, and it will. I mean, I don't, but I can put full throttle into it from a standstill, and it would only let it go to 1200 amps, and then it would sit and wait until the train is at a point where it won't be going above 12, and it'll back off. The limiter will back off. So yeah, it's extremely useful to have, and that's why I had it in the DVRT DE6. Because that way I can just mash the throttle. Like, I would always put 3 or 4 clicks in, and it didn't matter, because I wouldn't risk putting too much amperage through it. the amp limiter would just kick in and immediately limit it to no more than 12. It would be fine. Very handy tool. Probably one of the best upgrades you can put in one of the diesel electrics, at least. I don't know if it works on the BE2. I don't know with the new configuration if it draws enough amps that it would work. Be nice if it did, because that also has that problem. But otherwise, obviously, it doesn't work on the DM3 or the DH4 or the steam engines because they don't use electric motors. Or the DM1U for that matter. Anyway, next stream Wednesday. More Pokemon Emerald, catch 'em all. Rando, catch 'em all. Oh boy, what are we at? Like 200 something? We're over halfway there for sure. I forget where exactly we stopped. 220 something, I think it was. Still a lot to do. Still a lot to do. But I'm not missing information on too many Pokemon at this point, so that's good at least. There's still a number of black squares though on the board, which I don't have info on those Pokemon, and a lot of them are single stage Pokemon, which is not great. Anyway, that's Wednesday. And then Friday, which got posted initially because the bot's good like that. I should fix that, but I never will at this rate. Friday will be more Aceto. It's going to be F3s at Montreal, and beyond that, I don't know. They'll probably want to do more Trash Car if I had to guess. But the main thing is F3s at Montreal. Because the following week, when F1 is actually in Montreal, we'll be doing the 154 minutes of French countryside. So, yeah, look forward to that in a couple of weeks. And then GTA on Saturday, as usual. Anyway, if you want to... Yeah, exactly. If you want to watch some ads, and you're not a subscriber or a Twitch Turbo user, then stick around. If you don't want to watch ads, and you're one of those, you fall into one of those two categories, then leave. If you're a subscriber, you can do either. I appreciate you sticking around, but you won't see ads in theory either way. But yeah, no, seriously, like, if you don't want to watch ads and you're going to have to watch ads probably, then just don't watch ads. Leave. Ad revenue isn't significant. It does add up over time, but it's not a significant part of my revenue stream from streaming. So, yeah, I'm not bothered if people don't stick around for them. But I run them anyway, because there's no reason not to. So yeah, stick around for them or don't. Have I said that enough times at this point? Anyway, that's going to do it for me tonight. Thank you everyone for watching, and hopefully I'll see you next time. Later.